exercise number 19. We are now going to practice the application of the double tongue, which is different notes, of course. I was in the orchestra. I was happy to be able to double tongue because there's some passages here with the second violins. Some symphonies, Rachmaninoff, that second violins only has 16th note. The first violins are with the flute, and second violins are with the oboe. And there comes some conductor says winds only, and you cannot save yourself with legatos. So anyway, it's not so super important. If you cannot double tongue, you are probably a good oboist and you don't miss much. But I would say to control that zone better makes you play also better Baroque, better Mozart, and better romantic music. No? Not that I would apply, that I would use double tonguing in Mozart or in Baroque. In Baroque, we want just to articulate differently and not equally. And in Mozart, we want to have these wheels going, and we don't want a machine. But it's good to have a machine for when you need it. For instance, contemporary music. Not sure about the notes, but it is the Castiglione Aleph for oboe solo, page 2. That's where I learned the double tonguing. So, if you want, probably the first thing that comes to you is the Scala di Seta, and maybe the Organ Symphony by Saint-Saëns. There's no way you could save yourself with legatos. It's the same note. I'm not sure about the tonality now, but I know that it's going that way. No? And all the winds have to do it. And yeah, it's simple tonguing. Some genius might arrive in that tempo. But so anyway, we're in the double tonguing, and we have to use it now with fingering together. No? So you could use this exercise from. I repeat, the stop of the first is the hot point. Ta, ka. It has to be prepared and keep blowing against the key, and the key will be stronger. So we try to make always the k a little bit stronger than the t. You have to, it takes a while to get out of a, that you want to make always the first one stronger because it's more, musically of course makes more sense, but we want a machine that is straight. This one is a bit weaker, so we train it more. It's like the right-footed football players should more train the left foot. They don't, mostly you can see that they can, the other foot they have only to stand on and they can only play with one foot. And there are very few that can play with 2 feet, but they have trained both. So we train ta, it comes easier, ka. We have to give it more energy. This more energy comes in the pause, ta, ka. And when we then play fast, we find a way to keep that energy going. So the thing is, if you want really to learn double tongue and it doesn't come well, it is probably the only thing you cannot learn by just thinking it and trying it. You have to go over it for quite a big amount of time, like a half an hour or an hour. So you have to form that muscle that is explosive, the second one, and you have to form it a bit, using it until it gets really tired. And it gets tired maybe after half an hour, and you should go on 1 hour. 3 days, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, only double tonguing. The exercise is ta, kada, kada, or just playing it slowly, ta, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, or playing taka, 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 when you're better, or taka, 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 taka. So more and more continuous. But it cannot be when you, like I have to do it now in a short example, in that time you cannot learn it. You need 3 days, 1 hour a day. That's, and it's the only technique that I would say you should go a bit over your limit. Maybe you have a bit, you'll be a bit tired in the back of your mouth. Maybe your throat feels a bit strange. And it has to be. You have to get tired and to go over the hill. And after those 3 days, for your life, you have it. And so for that reason, you need material. You cannot play only a D major scale for 1 hour. It's too boring. So I would suggest, for instance, gilet number 10. It's getting a bit close to it. So we can do. Be sure that your fingers move with the tongue. It's something that is really hard to teach some people. The fingers must wait for the tongue. They cannot have their own rhythm. So in the time ta, ka, you hold the K, keep blowing to make it explosive. And then the K should be louder than the T. So all the ta, play a bit soft, ta, ka. Now for the Spanish speaking, the cada dia is something very easy. For the English, we could also find some words that are similar, but think that the ta is a sort of discrete articulation, and ka is a small explosion. This explosion we create by continuing blowing towards the K, and then when you relieve it, it is stronger than the T. Because later, when you play fast, it will not be stronger, it will be similar. It has to be similar. We want the machine now in the double tonguing. That's why we cannot use it for Baroque or classical music. There's no machine necessary there. I don't know any piece that would be useful. So, what material can you use? Of course, comes anyway the Scala di Setta by Rossini. And later we can maybe have some capsulas about some oboe solos, but now I want first the playing. So, you have the Rossini, you have gilet number 10, you have, why not, it's not so bad idea to use nice music to look whether your sound is okay, whether your intonation is okay. We are more critical on a Bach than we are on a gilet, with all the reasons. So, War, Castiglioni, Aleph for oboe solo, second page. Yeah. When it goes better, you can play with the rhythms. And any piece that you see that is many notes, even if they are written legato, you can make them staccato. But for instance, Strauss concerto is not so good, as many semiquavers, but too many long notes in between. You should really play 1 hour, only double tonguing. Find in the violin or flute literature, you find certainly pieces, oboe, it will be more studies. Yeah, there are other gilets that you can use. This one, so that you're not bored in 1 hour. You will see that after a while you think, oh, I would like to play Schumann Romance now, to have something different, because my throat, and yeah, but it's a physical process. In that exception, you have to go a little bit over your tiredness, because on the other end of the hill, it's when it gets easy. And I can tell you, 3 days, 1 hour, you have it for life. You don't need, you have to practice the pieces that come to you, but you're fit for the double tonguing. So, of course, the relation with the fingers. The tongue gives you the impulse when the fingers have to move. Huh? Ta, you can do it. Ta, ka, you can do it with your leg, waiting for the tongue. Ta, kada, kada. How could you not wait with your finger if you can do it with your arm and with your foot? So your finger can wait for the tongue. Be very severe. No finger moves before the note. And you will see there is an instinct that the fingers want to go ahead. And that's why sometimes there are passages of single tonguing now talking that people say, it's not a good coordination between fingers and tonguing. Rubbish. It's a fingers problem. The tongue is the boss. Like when you speak, you say yes or oh my God. No? It's not that the hand is there and then you say oh my God. No? It goes together with your voice, with your speaking, come the gestures. The gestures. No? It's not gesture, it's gesture. So the fingers, they have to wait for the tongue. Be very severe about that. And don't talk anymore about coordination, finger, tonguing. No, the tongue is the law. The finger must follow. And so in a double tongue, when you practice it slowly, I can imagine that the finger wants to go ahead, but then you cannot use the same for fast tempo. You could never play. You could not play that because the finger has trained to go ahead and now it cannot. So in the slow exercising, be very severe on your fingers. Never could go anywhere without having the okay from the tongue or from the ta or from the ka. Tiki taka. So this was the number 19. Good luck with that.